Hey, I'm Rob Gant with the Goose Creek Gazette and the Berkeley Independent. I'm here today with Roger Lee of the Summerville Journal Scene. He covers that area very well for us. And Ricky Dennis is the reporter for the Berkeley Independent. He covers the Berkeley Stags. Guys, Week 6 is in the books. Week 7 is upon us. Hard to believe that much of the football season is gone, but it's been fun so far. Ricky, we'll start with you. I heard the Stags had to go on the road and had to pull out a tough competitive win, and then also St. John's Christian played Friday. Kind of tell us about how those games went, and then fill us in on what's coming up.
Yeah, so Berkeley had to go over to that good old island and managed to squeeze out a victory over at Hilton Head.
Weird things do happen there. Weird things do happen on that island.
Weird things do happen on the island, yes. So, it was definitely not one of the prettiest matches. Wasn't the prettiest game and win for Berkeley. They did win 21-16. It was tied at the half, 7-7, and from Coach Rob, they got into the end zone something like 10 times. Berkeley did without even scoring. So you can just imagine how those sequences went if you were a football fan. But again, they did manage to win, and the most important thing is that they did win the region opener, starting out 1-0. Just a couple of stats. Eric Tuttle, the quarterback, ended the night 15 for 27, 152 yards passing. DJ Chisholm, the speedster, racked up 100 receiving yards, and Keyshawn Wicks led with 177 yards. Chisholm, Eric Tuttle, Devon Personnel, Blake Jenkins on defense are all responsible for those touchdowns for the Stags. So you still have your main guys contributing, as well as a good sign for the defense that they were able to convert a turnover into a touchdown. But if you're a coach, you're not content with not scoring when you're within scoring distance. So I'm sure that they're going to make those adjustments moving forward in the region play, because again, when you begin to play tougher opponents, you want to capitalize. You don't want to lose.
Beat yourself. Yeah, you definitely don't want to beat yourself.
But again, they start the region out with a win, and hopefully, and I'm sure that they're going to have things together. They play Stall this weekend, and I'm sure they're not too worried. But again, you never want to take any team for granted, so I'm sure they're getting prepared for that.
Pad your stats night for the Stags. Mm-hmm. It's pad your stats night for the Stags.
And it's homecoming night, so
yeah.
they'll be excited.
They'll be excited.
Yeah. You also mentioned St. John's Christian. Unlike Berkeley, they lost their region opener to Northside Christian Academy 44-30. I'm sure that they're not too happy with starting out the region on the wrong foot, but you have guys like Mikey Smith with 3 touchdowns rushing, Cooper Moore with 1 touchdown rushing, and on defense, Colin Robinson and Cooper Moore with a combined 33 tackles, which actually is pretty good from a defensive standpoint, but wasn't enough to get the victory. They're going to host Faith Christian, and I'm sure you can talk a little bit more about what that game means, but from my understanding, it's not a region match, but it is a local rivalry. You got Summerville and Moscona teams going at it, so it should be a good matchup for football fans this weekend.
Yeah, it's so good that I'm going to be there, Roger. I'm going to be there to watch the St. John's Christian Cavaliers go at it with Faith Christian. I haven't seen an 8-man football an 8-man game in a while, but it's usually pretty fun to watch. Usually high scoring. It's exciting. And for St. John's Christian, it's homecoming. So I'm sure they'll be looking to do something good on homecoming, and also they kind of want to get back on the right track. I think they've lost here a couple times in a row, and they want to be playing your best at the end of the year. I look forward to seeing that. You can follow me on Twitter, guys, if y'all want to follow that. Also in Berkeley County this week, Goose Creek is hosting Fort Dorchester. That is a chance for the Gators to shock the world. Roger, I'll come to you quickly. Any chance that the Gators pull off a Rocky type of upset?
Well, it's not looking favorable, Rob, but I will not rule the Gators out totally. Look at the turnovers. I think that's the key to having a chance against the Fort. Yeah. If you can force a couple turnovers early, who knows?
Yeah, the key for Goose Creek really is you on offense. They run the option, which is a ball control type of offense. You got to stay on schedule. Got to convert your 3rd and shorts. You certainly can't help Fort Dorchester with turnovers. And defensively, Goose Creek is a solid team on defense. So the path to victory there for Goose Creek would be to not help Fort Dorchester, hang on to the ball, and try to really milk the clock, take air out of the ball if you can. Also, another great Berkeley County rival game coming up Friday. Timberland hosts Hanahan. Want to give a shout out to a man, Art Craig. He had his 200th career win for the Timberland Wolves on Friday. I was there to see it. 54-0 win for Timberland. A lot of those wins have been a lot like that. He runs a great program out there, and they've been very successful. They host Hanahan, and the Hawks are being led by Quincy Mitchell right now. Did you see what he did Friday?
Yeah, I heard he had a touchdown here, touchdown there.
Yeah, just a few. He rushed for 250 yards for the second week in a row, scored 5 touchdowns to put the Hawks onto the board. I guess the winning side of the column against Manning, 34-28. That was a region opener for them. Timberland Hanahan, they get together. It'll be a great one. Last year it was 42-36 in favor of Timberland. A similar game will probably go down on Friday. Cane Bay hosting Hilton Head. The big question mark here is who's going to play quarterback for Cane Bay? Second string quarterback Chris Copeland came out of the game on Friday at Colleton County with a hip problem. DeAndre Walker comes in. It was a little bit of an adjustment period, but the Cobras were able to pull it out 24-17. The key here would be if DeAndre Walker is to have to quarterback this week against Hilton Head, which we just mentioned how what a tough out Hilton Head is. If DeAndre Walker gets all the reps in practice this week, that should help him be a little better prepared for a game, because a lot of times if you're a third string quarterback, you're not getting a lot of reps during the middle of the week, so you have to you get thrust into the limelight like he was on Friday. That can be a little bit of adjustment period. Don't want to leave out DeAndre Dingle, running back for the Cobras. He scored twice in the win over Colleton County, 60-something yards rushing. The fullback Mac Dudley had over 100 yards rushing. Cane Bay had to fight hard on the road to Colleton County, but they were able to pull it out. St. John's Christian, Faith Christian, we just talked about that one. That should be a fun one, and I really am excited about it. Cross, the Trojans, we rolled out to see Sean Wright on last football talk, and we talked to him about C.E. Murray. He said it would be a tough game, and I mean it was. C.E. Murray ended up taking out the Trojans 22-6. The lone touchdown there was not actually scored by the Cross offense. It was scored by the Cross defense. Christian Johnson picked up a fumble, ran it in for a touchdown. C.E. Murray was just a little too strong for him. Thing there, I think Coach Wright said that Cross had some untimely penalties and some turnovers. And when you're playing a good team, and Rogers, you really can't help them out, And I think Cross helped out C.E. Murray a lot. The Trojans, like I said, they go to Branchville on Friday, and it's kind of a pad your stats night for the Trojans, I think. But I could be wrong. One more game involving a team in my area, Stratford. The Knights head on over to Ashley Ridge. Ashley Ridge is coming off a 20-17 win over Goose Creek, one of my teams. Stratford, they had a kind of a rough evening against the Fort Dorchester Patriots, 63-8. Didn't work out for Stratford, but I think you kind of knew that Stratford was behind the 8 ball going into the game. The Ashley Ridge game presents an opportunity where the talent is. The gap is not so wide. Stratford should have a chance to be in the game. And if you remember, last year Stratford won one game, and that was against the Ashley Ridge Swamp Foxes. So Stratford should have an opportunity in this game. I would look for the quarterback Ryan Robinson. He scored the long touchdown against the Patriots, by the way. I think he has an opportunity to have a good game against Ashley Ridge. And so, let's just see what happens with Stratford. But it should be a fun game. Roger, tell us what you got going on.
Well, let's start with Ashley Ridge. You mentioned the 2017 win over Goose Creek last week. That was the school's first football win over Goose Creek. Yeah. So those guys are excited about that.
I think it's 1-6, right? Now Ashley Ridge is 1-6.
Yeah,
it's 1-6.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
This was 1 and something. That's all I know.
Gotcha.
All right, 1-6 then.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah, because those teams never met in the playoffs, right?
I'm trying to believe if they ever met in the playoffs. Maybe.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I have to say I don't know.
If they did, it was a sad day for the Foxes. I can tell you that.
Probably was.
Because that would have been back in the days. So.
Yeah.
But okay. Things that stand out from their game this Friday. Matt Duncan had more than 150 passing yards. He keeps getting the ball to J.J. McAfee and Troy Chavis. Chavis had a touchdown. The Swamp Foxes got the running game back. They've been inconsistent with the running game, and that's going to be the key for them. If they can establish a running game from here on out, they can be in any game, even Fort, I would say. But they've got to do that, or because if they only have that one side of that attack, anyway. But Nick Cunningham had 92 rushing yards and a touchdown. Some defensive standouts for Ashley Ridge. Rodney Oldham has 3 interceptions on the year. He's one of the leaders on the second level there for Ashley Ridge, second and third levels. And linebacker Rhett Butcher also has more than 40 tackles. So those two are kind of anchoring the Swamp Fox defense right now. Also, let's see, I know you already mentioned that they have Stratford coming in. The Swamp Foxes have some momentum built up. Stratford could give them problems. I know Stratford's definitely an improved team from last year. But I think as long as Ashley Ridge is able to do the things they want to do, they should be okay against the Knights. But we'll see. It'll be an interesting game.
You can't. I mean, it's, like I said, the talent gap is not so wide that Ashley Ridge could afford to help Stratford out.
Right.
By having 4 or 5 turnovers.
Fort Dorchester's coming off the big 63-8 win over Stratford, and that's one of the things that's so impressive about Fort Dorchester. They're holding a lot of teams to a touchdown or less this season.
Yeah.
Defense is legit. We've talked about all year about their starters, so on offense, let's switch it up and talk about some of their backup guys, because their backup offensive guys in particular are, at least for the third quarter, playing against that first string for those teams they're facing. Mm-hmm. Maybe some of the coaches are putting in their second string in the fourth quarter against these guys, but they are moving the ball on first string varsity programs. So Jandre Saab had 3 passes for 58 yards and 2 touchdowns. Backup tailback Khalil Jenkins is having a big year rushing the ball, even though he's only playing part-time. So those are 2 guys. Future's looking bright for the Fort offense. Fort is scoring in all 3 phases of the game. Jonathan Parker, linebacker, picked off a pass, returned it for a touchdown. Tony Hill picked up a block punt, run it back into the end zone for a touchdown. And they also had some other big plays on special teams, like I think they had a muffed punt that they recovered. Anyway, up front for that defense, James Milton is kind of anchoring the defensive line. And then some other guys on offense. Chaz Jones is kind of like emerging as that third go-to receiver behind Simmons and Williams. And, he's had several catches. I think he's got up to 9 catches this year. So he'll definitely should end the season in double-digit catches and who knows how many yards. Hasn't really been the guy they go to down near the end zone yet, but he's coming on pretty strong. I think he's a junior. And then Wakil Rivers up on the offensive line, he's kind of stepped up. Coach LaPrade is happy with the way he's providing leadership and just really giving Joyner some protection this year. Well, I think you hit the keys. I mean, turnovers, and then you don't want Fort's offense to have the ball too long. You mentioned that. You got to keep it out of the carry-on Joyner's hand, or he's going to hurt you eventually. It's just that simple. So, Summerville's coming off a big dramatic win over West Ashley. They got up early in that game by 2 scores. Jonathan Bennett completed 2 touchdown passes to Shaq Davis. Shaq Davis is really coming on strong this season. Mm-hmm. One of them, he just went up over a guy and just stole it out of the air, and
he can do
it was a pretty thing. Yeah. But anyway, then West Ashley came roaring back in the second half, and they missed a couple of field goals in that game, or they were like within striking distance of getting that upset over Summerville. But instead, Summerville defense manned up, held them on a couple of drives, and then Garrett Quakenbush came in and kicked a field goal as time was running out to give them a 25-22 victory. Let's see, Bennett passed for 172 yards in that game and rushed for 70 yards. He was that last drive in that game. He really impressed me. There are some times where they had him for a tackle for loss, and he just scrambled and got a first down. Didn't do it by himself. Obviously, he had some blocking. Obviously, throughout the game, he had some help, but he really stepped up on that last drive, and he's kind of filling that role of that guy on offense who's going to keep everybody else going and get them motivated to really, really fight. Let's see, defense for Summerville. You could probably just go down the line for their starters, but I'll just mention a few names. Some guys who've stepped up this season: Chandler Newton up front, Jimmy Bracey, linebacker Deontay Geddes is their leading tackler, and is just really can do it all. He could step back in coverage. He's got some sacks on the year, and we didn't talk about Summerville last week much. I wanted to mention when they played Ashley Ridge, that defense just smothered Ashley Ridge, and they were really impressive. And that's going to be key for them moving forward. Some of these, when they get to these tough games, they're going to need to pressure the offense, and they can do that. They showed that against Ashley Ridge. The only other thing going on was Pinewood beat, on my side of the interstate at least, Pinewood beat Cardinal Newman 31-8. Matthew Latham had another fabulous night, had like 3 touchdowns, I believe. And quarterback Ethan Hirsch, they're doing a dual quarterback system now, but Ethan Hirsch threw a touchdown pass to Jalen Slauson, which was a name we haven't heard much this season. And he is a promising, well, not promising, he is a legit receiver, and it could definitely help the Panthers out going down the home stretch to their season. The Panthers defense rose to the occasion, held them to a single score, and then of course the 2-point conversion. So the Panthers are excited about moving forward, and we'll see what they can do this week.
One more thing, Charleston Southern is on the road in Big Ten country at Indiana. Game kind of came about late this season. The Buccaneers hit the road to take on a Big Ten foe. How do you see that going for Charleston Southern?
Well, you're more of the expert on that than I am, for sure. I haven't watched the CSU game at all this year, but I'd have to lean a little bit toward Indiana, I guess. My instincts are just saying a little bit.